The acid rain burned through Marcus Webb's environmental suit as he trudged through the toxic wasteland of Kepler 442b. Warning klaxons screamed in his helmet, but he ignored them. The small Zytherian child, wrapped in his thermal blanket, was shivering violently, her violet skin turning gray from hypothermia. "Hang on, little one," Marcus whispered, adjusting his grip as another gust of wind nearly knocked him off his feet. The mining colony evacuation had been chaos, ships departing in panic as the atmosphere processors failed. In the confusion, this child had been left behind, cowering beneath a collapsed shelter. Marcus had been the last human on the evac list, his shuttle already warming engines when he heard the crying. He could have pretended not to notice. The Zytherians had never shown humans much kindness during the 3-year joint colony operation. Their crystalline society viewed humanity as crude, emotional primitives, useful for labor, unworthy of respect. But the sound of child crying was universal. Now, 6 kilometers from the emergency beacon, Marcus's suit integrity was at 15%. The Zytherian girl, no more than 4 cycles old by his estimate, had stopped shivering. That was worse. She stared up at him with those enormous amber eyes, 4 of them blinking in sequence, and whispered something in her musical language he couldn't understand. "I know," he said anyway. "I know you're scared." The storm intensified, visibility dropping to mere meters. Marcus activated his suit's last emergency flare, hoping any rescue ship could spot them through the ochre haze. His legs screamed in protest, each step an act of defiance against exhaustion. The girl weighed almost nothing by human standards, but the relentless wind made every movement a battle. Through the chaos, a massive shadow descended from above. Marcus initially thought it was a hallucination. His oxygen levels were dangerously low. But the ship was real, a Zytherian royal cruiser, its hull gleaming even through the toxic atmosphere. Such vessels were reserved for the highest nobility, never seen on backwater colony worlds. The ship's tractor beam locked onto Marcus, pulling him and the child up into the cargo bay. As the airlock cycled, Marcus collapsed to his knees, carefully setting the girl down. Medical personnel swarmed around them, all Zytherian, their movements efficient and alien. One figure stood apart from the others, his robes marking him as royalty. His crystalline crown refracted light into dancing patterns across the walls. Marcus had seen enough Zytherian broadcasts to recognize King Velshera III, the sovereign ruler of the Zytherian collective. "You carried my granddaughter through 6 kilometers of acid storm," the king said, his translator rendering the melodic speech into flat English. "Your suit failed 4 kilometers ago. You should have died." Marcus blinked in confusion, looking at the small girl, now surrounded by doctors. "Your granddaughter?" "The colony administrator's daughter. My son's child." Velshera approached, his 4 eyes studying Marcus with an intensity that made the human feel transparent. "I was evacuating the diplomatic staff when our sensors detected 2 life signs where there should have been none. I watched you through the storm. Every step, every time you stumbled and stood, every moment you could have abandoned her to save yourself." The king gestured, and an attendant brought forward a small crystalline object. "Humanity has always puzzled us. You are violent, irrational, guided by emotions we consider weaknesses. We judged you harshly." He placed the crystal in Marcus's hand. "But I watched a human carry a child of his enemies through hell itself, knowing it would likely kill him. Perhaps we have been wrong about what constitutes strength." Marcus stared at the crystal, its depths swirling with colors he had no names for. She was a kid. What else was I going to do?" Velshera's eyes brightened, the Zytherian equivalent of a smile. "Precisely. You didn't calculate. You didn't hesitate. You simply acted because it was right. That crystal is the star of compassion, the highest honor our civilization can bestow. Only 12 exist in all the collective." As medical staff helped Marcus to the infirmary, he glanced back at the little girl. She was awake now, watching him, her 4 eyes blinking in that hypnotic sequence. She raised one small hand in farewell. Marcus waved back, thinking that maybe humanity's greatest strength had always been the simplest one, the refusal to leave anyone behind, even in the darkest storms.